Hello, I'm Nadim Sadek, one of the founders and CEO of Shimmr AI. We are an automated advertising platform that sells books, and we provide an end-to-end service that automatically produces, deploys, and optimizes campaigns to sell more books for publishers. People talk about it as advertising on autopilot or hands-free advertising. What do our customers get from the service that we provide? They get it in different kind of levels. Publishers who have very long lists of books, which they call the backlist, that sit there rather languishing in the dark after their first flush of youth. They get those books newly monetized because we drive e-commerce to them. We put the campaigns out and readers see them and say, right, I'll buy that. That seems like the right sort of thing for me. So we're affecting the bottom line of publishers that work with us. Authors are delighted because their books, which have been sitting rather quietly in the dark, are now brought into the light, hence our name, Shimmr. And they are delighted to see their works getting more currency and reach. And then readers, because we're using a psychological matching engine, are finding themselves reading more suitable books that are more properly fulfilling their psychological needs. So it's a fairly virtuous circle that we're managing to produce here. And what sets Shimmr apart from others in both AI and publishing is, I suppose, to start with, that no one else does end-to-end automated advertising. And we have managed to produce a system which looks at the strategy needed to sell a book, the creative assets that it needs to employ, and then the media deployment that'll be most optimal for it. And we do that all without creating any greater workflow for our customers. They simply need to send us an e-file of the book, and everything else happens, and then they can monitor it in a very simple and elegant interface on our platform. So publishing has never had a monetizing solution like Shimmr before, and we are significantly affecting bottom lines, author contentment and care, and reader fulfillment. It's been really heartening the way that we've been welcomed by the publishing industry, because it's quite easy in a traditional industry like publishing to see AI as a foe rather than a friend. But we've been really positively received because it's clear that we're bringing something that hasn't existed before, that couldn't be done without AI before. And we're not creating new workflows, so we're not increasing the labor that's necessary, and nor are we making anybody redundant, because we're not taking jobs away from anybody. We're simply creating more value out of existing assets. And just to give you a sense of the scale of it, book publishing is at least 10 times the size of global music per annum in revenue terms. And in English alone, in the UK and the US, there are over 100 million books, 95% of which have never been advertised. So there's an almost inexhaustible amount of assets that we can work on, and which are each an individual customer, really, because we produce a campaign for each individual book. So if you think of, how we could do German, Mandarin, Japanese, Portuguese, Spanish, Arabic as well, it is an absolutely huge product market that we are going into. In addition to that, though, we are a horizontal technology. So once we've perfected the product that we are deploying for book publishing, we fully intend to go into things like podcasts, music, fashion, even things like wine. I mean, essentially a whole load of industries which previously could not advertise their long tail. There are too many assets with too small budgets and too little time to attend to, that we can sweep up and bring into the light as well. What have been the highlights of our journey so far? We've been going for 8 or 9 months, and we've been swept away by the positive reception we've been given by the industry, which is so heartwarming. And it means that we've had a new customer every single working day since we started. I wrote a book that became an Amazon bestseller, so at least 3 people read it, about AI and publishing, and that's given me a certain amount of traction in the industry and a certain amount of credibility. So we're asked to help the industry adopting AI, not just serving our own product up. So that feels That feels like we're giving rather than just taking the whole time, and being symbiotic rather than parasitic. And I think our team has been a real highlight for me. There are about 20 of us spread between the UK, where we're based, and then South Africa and North America, where we've got teams working on things. And we're really open-minded about the way we work as a culture. So we have quarterly deliverables that we can deliver whatever way we like. So we can work when we want, where we want, and how we want. And so long as we don't trip up any teammates who are trying to do their own things at the same time, it's a very free flowing way of working, and so we're trying to be forward looking and embracing of the new world as much as possible, not just in our product, but in our culture and our working ways. What's due for us next is just to get into even bigger publishers than we've already got into. You know, when you think of those 95 million titles just in English, there's a lot to do. We're developing new product features, as you'd anticipate, and then we'll be going into the new verticals as well as the new languages and so on. So a huge amount of work ahead of us, but also a kind of lovely horizon to aim for. So tons of enjoyment. And a lot of success so far. Thank you for listening, and thank you for awarding us as the UK AI Startup of the Year in London so far. Thank you.